Hello again, I am Blunty. Now, fair warning to those with sensitive ears, this video will contain what some may consider to be offensive language. And that's because the story I'm going to tell in this video requires that I use words like fuck. It's also more entertaining if I tell it when I can say words like fuck. So if you're the kind of person who thinks that words have some sort of mysterious magical power to destroy the entire planet if someone actually hears them and thinks they're a bad word, even though it's just an arbitrary sound that we make to represent an idea or thought, then you should probably turn this video off now, because this video is going to contain words like fuck and also probably cunt. Now, here's the thing. That joke is never not funny to me. I don't know what it is. No, I don't put up with bad customer service. It rubs me up the wrong way in a really rapid way. And this is partly because I'm an opinionated loudmouth jerk-off, and it's partly because I spent the better part of a decade working in retail and customer service, selling people electronics and bits and pieces, so I know what it's like from both sides of the counter. So on to the story and the point of this video. I walked into a camera store earlier today. As I often do, I go into camera stores all the time because I love cameras and bits and pieces, and I went in with a purpose this time. There was a specific camera that I'm looking at buying. It's called the GoPro HD Hero. So I went in to ask them about their prices because I was in there last week. I saw them on the shelf and that got me thinking about buying one for a review and all that sort of stuff. And so I went in and I stood at the front of the store in a glass cabinet where all the cameras are locked away, and I'm looking at things, and I went, hey, they've got 3 different versions of it, depending on which thing. And so I tried to get a salesman's attention, say, excuse me, hi, can I get a little hand over here? Thanks, mate. And the dude was, the customer service guy was behind the counter at the back of the store with a bunch of other people who worked in the store chatting away. And he sort of leaned over the counter and went, oh yeah, why don't you come up here? I said, no, what I want to ask you about is in this cabinet. But he stayed at the counter there. So flaw number 1 in customer service, too lazy to even come over to a customer who wants to spend money in the store. Pathetic. I don't know whether he was just feeling lazy that day or he was too involved in the conversation he was having with the other store person who had, clearly a very important conversation, probably just having a nice chat about the 3 or 4 cans of stupid cunt he popped open that morning to swill down before he went to work. But the fact of the matter is I had to go up to him, away from the thing I wanted to ask about, So I went up to him and go, oh, you don't have any prices on the stuff in the cabinets at the front here. I was just inquiring about how much these GoPro cameras are. And in response to my inquiry about why there was no prices on anything in the cabinets in the store, he said, well, we can't price everything. You have to just check on the website or find a staff member to ask. How is that a good thing for the customers? So we have to stand in your store, pull out our iPhone, look up the goddamn website for your store, search for the product just to get a price because you guys are too lazy to put a little piece of cardboard with the price written on it in front of the shit in the shelves. It's stupid, it's ridiculous. And I know for a fact it's not that big a hassle to put prices on stuff because I used to do it for 8 years. I did it for 8 years. It was a point of pride of mine to make sure the stuff in my store was correctly ticketed with the correct price to make it as convenient as possible for my customers so they knew exactly what they were getting in for, so I didn't waste time of the staff or the customers. It's really that simple. But I didn't go into that rant with him. I just wanted to find out how much it was. So I told him what I was after, and he had to go around the other side of the counter to a different computer to the one he was already standing in front of so he could get the price. Realised he didn't know how to look up whatever it was that I was asking about, so he then came around the counter and started to walk back down to the cabinet with me. So I says to him, admittedly I was being sarcastic and a bit blunt, but that is my way. I wasn't calling him a dickhead or anything like that. I just said, this is why prices on the shelves is more convenient for customers, so we don't have to fuck around like this. And he just turned around and going, all right, get the fuck out. What? It took me like half a second to process what just happened. This asshole snapped in an instant. It was all too horrible and inconvenient for him, and apparently I pushed him too far by suggesting that the stuff they sell should have prices on it. And he told me to get the fuck out of the store. And I'm not being sort of extra dramatic here. These are his exact words. All right, just get the fuck out. That's what he said. That is a direct quote. So once I recovered from what just happened, well, what the fuck, your job is to be a customer service representative. You are representing the store. You're supposed to sell me stuff. You're supposed to give me the information I asked for so I can make an informed purchasing decision. So then I can spend money in the store. So then you can get your wages paid. So then you could go and buy an extra 6-pack of stupid cunt to pour over your head every morning. After telling me to get the fuck out of the store, he promptly swung around and went back to his conversation with the other staff member. And I said, what's your name, dude? And he turns around and he goes, it's Michael. What are you going to do about it? Okay, so I got out my iPhone and I was typing in his name as I walked out the store. And he called out to me as I'm leaving the store. He goes, I know the regional manager. So what? What is it you're trying to communicate to me here, Michael? Are you trying to tell me that if I make a complaint, you won't get in trouble for being an absolute cunt to the customers who want to spend money in your store just because you know the regional manager? I know the regional manager. You can't dob on me. I won't get in trouble. Nya, 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 nya. No, that's not how it works, dude. I don't care whether you get in trouble or not. I wasn't going to make a complaint about you to your regional manager. I was going to call you out in a video by name and tell people never, ever, ever to go to George's in Sydney for their camera equipment gear because the service in the store is apocalyptically bad and rude and downright completely unacceptable. Just don't go to George's. Go to Paxtons. They're just down the street a little bit. I go in there all the time. The staff are brilliant, friendly, knowledgeable. They know what the hell they're doing in Paxtons, but don't go to George's. Ever. So what do you reckon, folks? Was that the correct way to respond to my inquiries about a price and my complaints about how nothing was priced in the store and how that was generally an inconvenience for the customers who want to spend money in this? Or was I out of line in pointing this out to this guy? I don't think so. You know, I know I can be too blunt at times. I know I can be too forward. I don't censor myself. I don't play the diplomatic game nearly as often as some people do, but I don't think I was out of line with my comments. Really. So here's a fun game to play. Let's say you're in and around Sydney, you're visiting maybe, you're in town, you're in the city. Find George's camera store, have a wander in to kill some boredom, find Michael, the staff member, and tell him to jam his attitude right up his fucking ass. I'm Blunty. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time. Hey Michael, fuck you cunt.